Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Restoration Mastery TV. Today we're talking to you about how to find your next superstar.
Boom. Hey guys, so welcome back to another episode of Restoration Mastery. And so today we want to talk about the ability to hire like superstars. And I think it's really kind of neat because some of you have already seen the ad that we are running on our Allied page. And we're getting some emails and calls about that, which is kind of cool. But we want to pull the curtain back a little bit and kind of talk about what we do once we get people to actually take action and apply. And so, but before we do that, I want Tim to share a story as to what took place. Let's talk about the guy that you actually met.
So I think it's always a challenge in our business to find quality people. And we got a lot of feedback after our episodes with Will, when Will came on the show and talked a little bit about his experiences on how we find such dynamic, but to be fair, odd-looking employees. Just kidding, Will, if you're watching. But yeah, we hire the best. And so what do we do? And so with our Facebook ad that you may have seen, that we're starting to use Facebook for recruiting. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But in our industry, it can be challenging to find good people. Now, I know I don't look it, but I've been in this business for almost 15 years now, which basically means I started when I was 2. And in this industry back then, if you'll remember, like, there was a lot more entertaining, a lot more drinking, a lot more craziness.
Way different, man.
Yeah,
way
back
different.
in we were never like Mad Men, like people weren't smoking in the office, but
we were like the mafia.
Like the mafia.
The mafia, like a little mobbish. It was kind of cool.
I mean, they never found the bodies. But it was definitely something that, occurred, and it was kind of the wild, wild west. And so I recently sat down with kind of an old school estimator guy who was looking to get back in the business.
Yeah.
And so we had a 2 p.m. interview set up, and I agreed to meet him at this cafe. And this cafe had a small bar inside. So when I walked in, I got there at 1:59 p.m. And I walk up to the gentleman. He's sitting at the bar, which, again, that's fine. And in front of him, there was a little dark bottle.
Yeah.
And I don't drink a lot of beer. So I wasn't sure if it was a beer. And I'm looking at it, and it was a beer. He's having a beer. And it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I think to myself, don't be a prude. It's cool. We're in construction.
Right.
No big deal. And so I sit down for the interview, and we chat, and he smelled like beer, to be quite honest. He reeked of alcohol. And we're sitting there, we're having the interview, and at the end, I pick up the check because he was my guest. I invited him. And I open the check, and I look at it after he's left, and it was actually his second beer. And he'd had some nachos. Now, what's kind of funny about that is he didn't mention, hey, by the way, you don't have to pick that up. I also had nachos. He actually made a joke, I would have ordered more if I'd known you were going to be paying. And I thought to myself, in retrospect, now looking back at that, is he's saying he wished he'd gotten completely shit-faced, And I thought to myself, that's funny. We elected not to hire this individual. And so our systems that we have in place are designed to weed individuals like this out. We have a many-part interview process, and we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, starting with how we recruit, and then, once we get through the recruitment process, how we select employees.
Yeah. And so in our Disaster Restoration Institute training, we actually have a module where we speak specifically about every single step that we take when we hire someone. However, today we want to discuss what it actually takes when someone has an interest, what we're doing right now, especially with Facebook. For those of you that see the ad, what we'd like to do is really invite you to not only take a look at it, but go to our Allied website or to our Allied page on Facebook.
We'll put the link right here on YouTube on the bottom section here.
Yeah. And then so you'll see the ad. Would you read it off really quick, Tim?
So the ad, I pulled it up here. It says, don't even call unless you are an overachiever and can prove it. Come build an empire with our fine progressive company. We're in the disaster restoration industry and looking for hungry estimators. We hire top producers If you're average, you can earn 75K with us. If you're a star, you can earn 250K plus. Young or old, if you have the stuff, we'll know. Click this link for more information.
So that ad is jam-packed with many features that when you read it, what we have found is by the way that it's set up, the average salesperson who doesn't believe in himself is not going to even apply. Like that dude or that gal, they're going to look at this and go, oh shit, overachievers only, no way. I probably am not that great. We don't want you, right? If you're going to begin to have the self-doubt, this is really what helps weed out the thousands or hundreds of emails that people typically get with applicants. So this ad alone helps us really trim down the applicants, which is great because it saves us a bunch of time.
And before we even, the copy of the ad is important, but also the placement of the ad. So we actually run this ad on Facebook, and we pay for it like it's an advertisement to target people that are already in the business with companies. Now, why do we do that? Why don't we just hire somebody else? Why don't we look for people on Craigslist or Indeed?
And you know what? You can, but what we want is specifically people in the industry that can run with us, not people that we're going to have to train as greenhorns, which we've done that too, and that's paid off. So there's no good or bad way, but to answer Tim's question, like that is our goal right now, is to figure out.
Yeah, we also want people that aren't just failures from another company, right? In our line of work, if we were to hire an estimator from another big company here in Southern California where he had gotten fired from that company for not producing enough, there's not really a whole lot a salesperson can do to change their ability to run business. Once in a while, we'll meet a salesperson who worked for a company that did a bad job with the service and they lost accounts as a result. But by and large, if you fail at one restoration company, you're probably going to fail at all of them.
Yeah, and so we do the best we can to weed people out with our ad. And today we want to encourage you to click on the ad, okay? As if you're going to apply. Click on the ad, and then you will see part of our secret sauce, right? And really what it is that when you click, automatically you get an email, and that email is a disc analysis. Now, we use this software so that way we can actually gain more knowledge from the applicant themselves. And this is an assessment. This is a personal assessment on the individual. So we send that off to them immediately. They take the assessment test, and then we can actually see, and they can see what the results are of that. And really, it gives us a better idea as to if these people are positioned properly for, the position that we're actually advertising for. And sometimes they're right on, sometimes they're off, and sometimes they're way off the mark. And it doesn't make them bad. This is not, the disc analysis doesn't say whether you're good or bad. It just says these are your strengths, these are where you can improve, and then we take the information and say, okay, the strength that we're looking for, is it high? And if it is, great. If it's not, the strength is over here. If we're trying to, for example, if we're trying to hire an accountant, I don't want someone who's, driven and someone who's always, talking to people all the time or energetic and all that. I'm not looking for that outgoing personality. I'm looking for someone more stoic, someone who's like, this is their game and this is what they do and they're disciplined. That's what I'm looking for in an accountant. If you're looking for a salesperson, you're looking for a completely different type of a personality. Wouldn't you agree? And so those are the kind of the features that we have in place. But today we encourage you to click in there. You can see what we do, and then you can adapt that. For the time when you want to hire some people, use that. And that disc analysis really gives you so much information that, I think we can all agree everyone interviews great. But when you have an assessment that they take, assuming they're telling the truth, you're going to get deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and I think that especially salespeople, an interview with a salesperson is always going to go well.
Yeah.
In case you're not familiar with this disc analysis, kind of to give you an idea of what it is, it actually will measure different traits of those personalities. What OP was speaking about, it doesn't say whether a person is good or bad. It just says what they're likely to do, not only from a day-to-day basis, but also when they're being observed, how they might adjust their behavior. And that allows us to really put them in the right position. And I will tell you that there have been many times where we've hired based on experience instead of personality, where maybe they take the disc analysis, we see it, and we say, oh, you know what? This is not really an ideal salesperson. Let's hire them anyways because they've been in the business for 20 years. They must be good at it. And every single time we've done that, we've regretted it.
Yeah.
It's critical. And so we tell our applicants right up front, we don't hire on experience, we hire on personality. If you don't have a good personality, if you don't have the right kind of personality for the position involved, we pass. It's a hard pass right away, no matter how much experience or good things you could bring to the table.
Yeah. So I'd encourage you guys, click on the link of the ad, and then you can see what we do to even further filter out some of the applicants that try to get a job with us, and hopefully that'll help you guys out.
All right, guys. Until next episode, only hire the best people. You know how much a bad hire costs.
Whew.
And we'll be back next week.
Be courageous, live with passion. Peace.